Good morning.
Good morning, David.
Yeah. How are you?
Just great. I'm Gary Whiting, a past club president of the Sun Lakes Rotary Club, as well as a past district governor of former District 5510. And I have the wonderful opportunity to interview you, David.
Thank you.
You've been a long-time Rotarian, and we want to know a little bit more about you. So with that, on August 24th of 2017, we want you all to meet David Mork.
Thank you, Gary. Wow. This is exciting. This is exciting. It's nice to have you be my interviewee.
Well, thank you. David, before we get started on your Rotary background, why don't you just very quickly highlight your professional background and a little bit about your family, and then we'll drift on into Rotary.
Okay, well, you want me to do this in a very short snippet, I take it?
Yes.
I have had a very good career as a certified public accountant. During the years as a CPA, I also got involved in the insolvency field and became an insolvency practitioner and practiced worldwide, and also had my own firm for many years. I also spent some time with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, taking down over 125 banks across the United States. It was an interesting career. I retired in 2006. And it was a wonderful thing when we got here to Arizona prior to my retirement in 1994. Our daughter was then a Rotary scholar in Adelaide, Australia, getting her Master's of Environmental Chemistry from Adelaide University. Our son, that was Lisa, our son Jason was a sophomore at the University of Minnesota. So when we moved here in '94, Super Bowl Sunday was 22 below in St. Paul. And it was a wonderful place to come to Arizona. And we've been here now since January of '94, and in Sun Lakes since 2003. And a member of this club since 2005.
Well, David, I know your Rotary career expands about 30 years, 31 years, right in there. I wonder if you could maybe start when you first got involved with Rotary, where it was, and if you were a charter member, and what offices that you have held and so forth.
Well, I'll go back to the days of living in St. Paul. My wife Sandy and I, now 47 years of marriage. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time, a great ride, and I need things to do other than just work. And Sandy and I basically thought that there must be something more than just work all the time, and I ended up with having tried to join the St. Paul Rotary Club, and during that time, I was trying to be a member of the St. Paul Rotary Club, but in those days they only allowed 2 per classification, Gary.
Oh, that's right. Remember. The old days.
There were 2 CPAs only, and they both would not allow me to be a member. Having had that turned down, I was having a lunch one day at the athletic club in St. Paul. My partner at the table was the membership chair of Rotary, District 595, in the Twin Cities. I had no idea he was when I talked to him. He looked at me and he said, "David, after hearing your story, would you like to start your own Rotary Club?" And I said, "Absolutely." And within a week, I received the largest geographical territory in District 595 in those days. We had 13 municipalities. And on May 14th, 1980, we organized the club. I was the first president in 1980. I'm going to run again with the same board in 1980-81. In 1980, I went to the 75th convention in Rotary in Chicago, Illinois, and I got a chance to sit at the head table right next to the president, Rolf Klarich, the incoming president of Rotary. Wow. So here I am in 2 weeks in Rotary, and I'm sitting at the head table with the folks who lead Rotary International.
Rotary International president. That has quite an honor.
That was really an amazing thing. I was one of the latecomers. I was so far back in the room. I already had my salad, and I wondered what that empty chair up there was at the head table. And they said, we're reserving this for the newest president, who's in attendance at this luncheon. So they asked everybody to stand up who had been chartered in 79-80, Rotary year, July 1 to June 30. And a lot of people stood up. And they kept on saying, sit down, sit down, sit down. Well, they got to May, and there was only one person standing, and that was me. And they said, you, come up here to the head table. And I did. So it's been a wonderful career. I spent many years in Rotary in St. Paul area. It was called the South Washington County Rotary Club. I was the president. I was the district treasurer for a number of years. I was asked to be a district governor. I turned it down. Ultimately, in '94, we moved here to Arizona, and I became a member of the Phoenix 100 Rotary Club. And I was there until probably the early aughts, and I moved out here to Sun Lakes in 2003 and became a member of this club in 2005.
The Phoenix 100, that's our mother, if you will, of all the clubs in Arizona, and it still is the largest Rotary club in the entire state.
It was an honor to be a Rotarian in the Phoenix 100 Club. Anywhere I went in the world, around the U.S., they all knew Phoenix 100. And there was one date I was traveling in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and there were two of us from the club in Cape Cod.
Huh.
Who knew, you know?
Well, tell me, what was it like to charter a Rotary club? How difficult was it? Was it easy? Give us a little bit of a summary of that.
Well, in 1979, when I got the territory, I had no idea. I had never been a Rotarian, never been a Kiwanian or any other service club other than a JC. But I had a lot of friends and I had a lot of clients. So my first foray into finding out what is Rotary was going to the Rotary Club meetings that the then membership chair, Roland Wilsey, asked me to do. And I met a number of Rotarians. And then I started visiting with my clients and my friends. And I asked a number of them to come to a luncheon meeting. And we visited and we visited and we continued and continued. And finally in May, we had sent our paperwork in to Rotary, and we had 22 members of our club. And I remember asking one person who actually became the president and also a district governor. We were on a bus coming back from a convention at the Playboy Club in Geneva, Wisconsin. And I said, Bob Haynes, I would like you to be a member of our Rotary Club. And he said, I'm just finishing my tour as the district governor of Toastmasters, and I need something to do. And he became a member, one of the charter members, and he still is a member today of the South Washington Rotary Club in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. So it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. I was also made a Paul Harris Fellow on Charter Night. The night that we had that Charter Night event, we had over 20 district governors, past district governors, current district governors, and other folks from around the Twin Cities for that event. It was the largest assemblage of district governors, nominees, past district governors, etc., at any charter night in the history of the Twin Cities Rotary Clubs. We had a ball, and they also presented me with a Paul Harris Fellow on Charter Night, and I was the very first president ever to receive a Paul Harris Fellow on Charter Night.
Well, since that time in your Rotary life, you've probably had a lot of other opportunities for service, and maybe you could discuss a little bit about how you're able to meet the challenges in your own life, your personal life, your family life, and still be involved with a Rotary project in your club?
Well, being the challenge of making the weekly meetings of the Rotary clubs today and in the past, now over 37 years I've been in Rotary, it's a family affair. First of all, my wife supports it, our children support it. Whenever we went to a out-of-town trip, our children knew that Dad was going to go to Rotary somewhere at this facility or in the community, because Dad's got to continue his tenure in Rotary and to continue to get the perfect attendance. I had it for 10 years, and later when I joined Sun Lake's Rotary, I missed the second meeting on purpose because I didn't want to get back on the track all over again. But it's been a challenge, no question. But the nice thing about it is, having been able to travel in my career with my family or without my family, we've had opportunities to meet other Rotarians in other places. And they all understand that if you're a Rotarian and you've got to go to a Rotary meeting, they'll make the time for you. And I think that's what's been helpful. My staff supported that when I had my own firm. The firms I've worked for have supported that. It's been a real, how do we say this, a piece of my life, and people understand that I am part of, and being a part of the community.
You know, in Rotary, there's all kinds of opportunities to become involved with in your own Rotary club, even at the district level and internationally. Can you give an example of, say, one or two that you were really involved in, what your passion was about being involved in those?
Well, because I was trained as a CPA, I spent my Rotary give back, if you will, as the treasurer of the district in Minnesota. I was also, of course, the president of the club, providing some leadership. And it's just been, try to give what I do, because that's where I feel the strongest. Here in the Sun Lakes Rotary Club, for the first 10 years, I kind of went around looking for projects. And in 2012, I began this Rotary Heritage Project, which has been, I think, a good thing. It's provided some opportunity for others to see what happens to Rotarians and how they grow as a Rotarian and how they grow as a person, and what they can emulate if they join Rotary. So it's been a challenge, but I want to give back with what I'm capable of. I have talent, and I need to give that back, and I continue to do so today.
Well, it sounds like during your Rotary life and these different clubs, you've had an opportunity to serve as the club president, probably, obviously, with your background as the treasurer and so forth. Are there some other officers that you've held, or perhaps being a director on the board that you've had an opportunity? And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in my Rotary Club that I was a part of back in Minnesota, I was on the board for a number of years as the president, and then after 7 years in Rotary, they asked me to be a DG, and I was the district governor's rep for a couple of years, running around the Twin Cities trying to represent the district governor. And ultimately, I moved away in the 90s, and when I came here, I was not an officer in Rotary 100. That's a very big club, and you have to spend some time in grade, if you will, and I just didn't have that much time to give. But over here, I wanted to be a part of the board. This current board with Peter Mead and Ed Anderson, and their 2 years of presidency. I volunteered to be a member of that board, and then once I did that, they said, "Oh my goodness, David, why don't you be the treasurer?" So I got into that. But as you know, Gary, you've asked me several times, and I was the vice president of the club here in Sun Lakes twice. And I know you asked me to go to the DG meetings, become a DG, and get on the track to be the GG nominee. And through my career and the unavailability that I've had over the years, it's just not been possible. So I've had as much as I can do, and this is enough right now.
Well, unfortunately, the time that I was talking with you, you were busy closing down banks around the country, so we didn't get a chance to see you very often.
No, I was gone a lot,
And
and I never knew where I was going to be because.
We're really glad to have you back.
Thank
Moving on just a little bit, David, during your lifetime as a Sun Lakes Rotarian over these last few years, how would you describe this club in the way of being a member? Not only this club, but for example, the Phoenix 100 Club, as well as the other clubs that you were a member of and helped charter before. Okay, do you have a comparison?
I can. In Minnesota, I was driven as a person. I was driven to respect the Rotary principles, no question. But also back in the early days of my career, there was an awful lot of opportunity for networking, for growth of your personal life. There was also an opportunity to network for growth in your business career. So I had a lot of opportunities to showcase my talents, my firm's talents, to Rotarians. And that was kind of the driving force back in the Minnesota days. When I got to the Phoenix 100 Club, I just wanted to meet people, and I wanted to gather friends. And I knew if they wore the Rotary button that they were on the same par as me as far as their business, of meeting the four-way test, having an opportunity to provide time and talent back to the community. And that was really my focus in the days of my Phoenix 100. Here in Sun Lakes, for the past 12 years, this has been a chance to meet people, grow with them, grow older with them, shall we say that, and give the talent that I have had accumulated over my career back to the Sun Lakes Rotary Club and its community. And that's really the difference. I don't go out there and look for new business anymore. I'm looking for people, I'm looking for friends, and I want them to know that I'm a Rotarian and that I have those principles in mind when I meet you. And that's really the focus today.
Would you say that the Sun Lakes Rotary Club has made a little bit of a change in your life as far as not only your move from the big city of Phoenix, but back out here to the Sun Lakes area? How has that kind of affected you?
Oh, it has a lot. I have three things in my life that I deal with on a daily, weekly basis. The first one is Rotary and all the activities that I get involved in. The second one is golf, and I love to play golf. And the third one is billiards or 8-ball or 9-ball. I love to play that. As to the rest of the things, it's those three things is what really keeps me here in Sun Lakes and what I like about living in Sun Lakes. And certainly my family, grandchildren now. Our daughter has 2 grandchildren, 2 girls. Our son has 2 boys. So that keeps us busy. My wife and I love to travel. That keeps us busy. And still trying to meet the challenges of Rotary, golf, and the billiards league. You have to put all these balls in the air, and every day I have those challenges, except on Wednesdays, which is the date day for my wife and myself. So I try to clear everything and just devote my time to the family, and that's what I like to do.
Well, speaking of golf, David, it seems to me that through Rotary, you've made quite a connection with the Hamilton High School golf team. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, I can. They're here at the Rotary Vocational Service Day about 4 years ago. The president, the principal, Dr. Fred Dupree, was there with the golf coach and Steve Kenner. And I said, gee, do you have any need for a fundraiser? And we could maybe do some things to help you in my Niners Golf League. And Steve jumped on that and said, absolutely, we'd love to. And so for the last 3 years, on a Thursday in March, we've hosted the Hamilton High golf team, the boys golf team, and they play with the Oakwood Niners, if you want to call it that, the Niners, which are a lot of 50, 60, 70, even 80-year-olds. So here we are with the kids who play these state championships. For a small fee, we charge, and we ask the fee to be donated to the Chandler Unified School District Hamilton High Tax Credit Fund. The kids get the money for the activities. We get a chance to play with some great people. In fact, one of the kids we played with in 2017 played in the U.S. Open at Erin Hills. He didn't make the cut, Mason Anderson, but he made the first two. He missed it by 1 stroke. But he was playing in our foursome in 2017. So it's just great that these kids do this. We've raised almost over $4,000, Gary, for the Hamilton High golf team. We're very excited about it. It's a lot of fun.
You know, that's one of the things about our Sun Lakes Rotary Club is, in a way, we're kind of known as the education club because of all our involvement. And this is one example but I also understand, David, that you have quite a nickname at the pool table. Can you tell us what that nickname is?
Really? You had to bring that up. Okay. In 2011-12, I wanted to shoot some pool here. We have a beautiful room with 4 billiard tables. And I organized a group of guys along with some other friends of mine. And after the club got off the ground with about 15, 18 people, everybody had to have a nickname. And one of the guys nicknamed me the Godfather. And that is because I take care, and have taken care, of all the things necessary to make the pool room happen. So it's been a name that stuck with me. Now I guess I am the Godfather, and it's been fun. And that's when I have that on my logo shirts. It's something that certainly brings out the conversation with people. That's for certain.
Well, I notice that at some of our club meetings we do hear the term Godfather. So
yes.
And I notice you look around immediately.
Yes.
You know, every club, every Rotary Club, and there's some 32,000 of them around the world, each one has its own personality in the way the membership goes and so forth. Could you describe your personal feelings as to how the Sun Lakes Rotary Club makes you feel when you come to a Rotary meeting first thing? Are you welcomed? Do you feel like you're part of the group, or you're just sitting there waiting to get the meeting over with?
Well, it certainly isn't the latter, Gary. It certainly isn't the latter. When I walk into this Sun Lakes Rotary Club meeting on Tuesday mornings at 6:15 or so, I am welcomed. I am greeted. I am greeted with people who smile. They're happy to see me. We have great opportunities for discussion. We have a network of folks that enjoy themselves. I feel happy every day, and I can't wait to come back to next week's meeting. Let's put it that way.
What, in your opinion, keeps attracting you to this club? You have a lot of personal friends from it, or you're interested in the speakers, or what keeps you coming back every Tuesday to follow on to what you just spoke about?
Well, that's a great question. And what keeps me coming back is people like you, people like the other 85 members of this club, because there's never a crossword. There's always something good and fun to be a part of. There's always happy dollars coming out from people to say what's going on in their lives. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me a part of the community. I developed good friendships as a result of Rotary, and I have over the years, and I've continued to do so here in the Sun Lakes Rotary Club. It's a wonderful thing, and it's fellowship. And there's females and male fellowship today. And I enjoy that. I enjoy all the people I meet, and I certainly want to come back the following Tuesday. And if I'm not here, I'll try and find another Rotary Club.
Well, I understand you take 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks to head down to Mexico and enjoy with Sandy some good time down there. Have you had the opportunity to visit a Rotary Club in that area, and what have you experienced if you have?
I have. We've been to the Zamontanejo Rotary Club, which is the oldest club in Mexico. They tell me that. And there's only a few members, probably less than a dozen. And it is a afternoon meeting. And it's just a lot of fun. It's mostly Spanish, but there are some people who interpret it, translate for you, I guess that's what they say. And that has been a wonderful thing. They're good people, they do great things. I enjoy going there. There's also a club in Ixtapa I've made up at. And when I go there, yeah, I bring my flags down, I bring my pin down, and I attend the meetings whenever possible. It's a lot of fun.
It is really, I find, exuberating to visit other clubs because you see different personalities, new friendships, and so forth. And it is kind of amazing over my years in Rotary why I still have friends basically all over the world that
Amen.
are Rotarians.
Mm-hmm.
David, to kind of bring this back to a wind down here, what would you like your legacy to be to those who come into the Sun Lakes Rotary Club 10 years from now?
That's also a great question. And I think the answer is this Rotary Heritage Project. Really. It provides a point in time for any Rotarian who participates in this to reflect on their Rotary career, to provide for others an opportunity to see what they've done. Because they may not remember, they may not have been a part of it, they're too young. My grandchildren have no idea that I was a Rotarian for 37 years. When they see this, and if they do. They're very young, they're 9, 7, 6, and 4. But someday they'll see this, and they'll see this as a legacy that I've left.
That's a wonderful, wonderful legacy, and I share that with you in terms of the fact that my grandchildren hopefully are going to have an opportunity to learn about my involvement with Rotary, and hopefully that will inspire them, and hopefully it'll inspire your grandkids to become Rotarians down the way.
I have to tell you that all the Heritage Project videos that I've done sitting on your side, there hasn't been one where either myself or the interviewee has not almost shed a tear.
With that, David, thank you so much for your, let me call it a second career in Rotary. We're so happy to have you as a member of our Sun Lakes Rotary Club. And it's not often that we get members who have actually started their Rotary career as a charter member. Congratulations.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you.